To the United States now, it was a rough weekend for Donald Trump. It's been a rough time for him, in fact. He may be the Republican presidential candidate. He's won big in the Super Tuesdays. He's the only Republican face now in the race. But does he remember that? I ask because Trump seems to have trouble remembering things. A few days back, he looked lost. He referred to his wife, Melania, as Mercedes. He confused Obama with Joe Biden. And when it came to his rival, Trump even appeared to endorse Biden for a moment. So what's going on with the former US president? Are gaffes now a staple for presidential campaigns? Our next report tells you.
So every time I do that, or I'll say, our president, Barack Hussein Obama, now I do that because, that makes a point. Do we understand that, right? Because a lot of people say he's running the country. And Putin, has so little respect for Obama that he's starting to throw around the nuclear word.
That was Donald Trump, former US president and current Republican presidential candidate. If you weren't following US politics, you would imagine he was fighting Obama in the polls. But Trump is up against Joe Biden. So why is he talking about Obama? It's a gaffe. One of his many this election season. He's confused Nikki Haley with Nancy Pelosi. He's called his wife Melania Mercedes. In Michigan, he told voters to vote on November 27th. The state's primary was on February 27th. At one point, he even seemed to endorse Biden. Trump is nonchalant about his gaffes. He says they're intentional. But is that really the case? Trump is 77 years old. He writes with a Sharpie. He sometimes seems lost on the campaign trail. So questioning his cognitive senses is not completely out of line. But maybe Americans are just used to it. Because on the other side is Joe Biden. The US president is 81 years old, and he too has had his share of bloopers.
We stand with you. Putin may circle Kyiv with tanks, but he'll never gain the hearts and souls of the Iranian people.
As you know, initially, the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian material to get in. I talked to him. I convinced him to open the gate.
If you didn't know any better, you would think gaffes are a campaign strategy, something to rally the voters. But the more you look into it, the more you realize it's just that they are old men. Men who are looking lost, stumbling on stage, and mixing up things too often. Joe Biden is 81. Donald Trump is 77. Compare that to the average age of US presidents, just 55. Around 76% voters are concerned about Biden's age. 48% think Trump is too old to be president. After all, the median age of Americans is 39 years. Retirement age in America is 66 years. Presidents are public servants at the end of the day, so technically they are hired by the people. So why can't people demand younger presidents? But demand or not, Americans hardly have a choice here. They may dream of the good old days, of American presidents who could walk and talk simultaneously. And there were plenty. Gerald Ford once modeled for a magazine. John Quincy Adams kicked off his day with a swim in the Potomac River. Ulysses S. Grant was arrested for speeding on a horse. Herbert Hoover invented a sport to stay fit. John F. Kennedy loved his sports. It was often difficult to keep him away from the field. Barack Obama was a gym rat in chief. The 44th US president was a fitness freak. But now you have two elderly men who are stumbling their way to the presidency.